Welcome to the News Channel 9 Stream Center. We are here in our newsroom, but our teams are out at Elders Ace Hardware locations in East Brainerd and in Lafayette programming your weather radios today. Let's go ahead and pull in some of our team members who are standing by. Bill Race joining us from the location in Lafayette, and Maggie Weaver and Kim Chapman Whitfield joining us from the East Brainerd location. You guys have been programming weather radios for quite some time. Bill, how many people have you seen down in Lafayette so far?
We've had a good deal of crowds. It has been off and on, some as it always is. But at our table right now, a little quiet right now, a little pause. But when the folks are getting off work, we're expecting another surge of the folks to come on in. I've understood that we may have sold as many as 60 radios today, but that doesn't include the folks that we have reprogrammed radios for. And so that's probably in the at least 30 or 40 of those. So big crowds have been coming in. It's a little bit of a lull right now, but we are going to be staying here at least until the end of our news time at 6:30. And we hope that you'll come down and join us right off Main Street here in Lafayette.
That's right, Maggie and Kim. I was at that location earlier today. A lot of people stopping by on their way to work or on their way to run some errands. Who all have you guys talked to today?
Well, a lot of people have been actually paying attention to weather recently and just said, "Well, go ahead and get it done now to be safe," which is really good to see. We've had a pretty much a steady flow this afternoon. It's really positive.
It really has been. And I think that here, Latricia, we've had about 85 radios that have been purchased. But as Bill said, lots more that have been reprogrammed. And we actually have a few people here at the table now that are getting theirs reprogrammed. And also, we have a guest here. This is Mr. John Rutter. He is the communications specialist for Ace Hardware. How has today been for you?
So it's been a great day. I know our team always enjoys getting out and helping the community get ready for weather events, and so and also helping to support a great cause. Of course, today you can get a weather radio. We're donating $5 to the Forgotten Child Fund for each one, and everybody will be ready for weather events that are upcoming. So we always love doing this.
That's right. We've had a couple of people, Latricia, stop by and say that they were pretty severely impacted by the Easter tornadoes that happened in this area of East Brainerd. Sorry if it's a little loud out here. I apologize. But because of that, they said as soon as we saw that you guys were going to help us program a weather radio, we wanted to get in there, get one, make sure that we've got it working correctly so that we can stay prepared. So Kim is helping with some of that programming right now.
Yeah, we hear that beep, beep, beep in the background. That's just our team and the Elders Ace Hardware team hard at work, putting in your specific county code as well as setting the alert to go off. Right now, we're going to show you that there is a way you can program your own weather radio. David Glenn has a video that we send people to if you need your weather radio programmed, if something happens to it. Of course, we're hoping that you don't let your batteries run out while it's not plugged in. That is one of the things that keeps the weather radio working, is if you keep it plugged in and then also have your batteries for it. So we'll get to that in just a second. First, though, what we're going to do is talk about some of the proceeds from the Forgotten Child Fund. If you buy a weather radio at Ace, it's $39.99, and Ace donates $5 of that to the Forgotten Child Fund. News Channel 9's Dave Wormlinger talked to the Forgotten Child Fund earlier this week about how important that is. Let's hear about where those helpful donations go.
The storms has been bad, so there's always a need for a weather radio.
Yeah.
And going to a good cause. Coats for Kids, Elders Ace has always been so good to us. I mean, last year is what we brought in from the coat drive, 6,558. That buys a lot of coats, and we're already in the early stage of buying coats right now, so we really don't quit. We try to buy coats at the best price throughout the year. So with everything going on in the market, we're trying to get the bang for the buck. So JCPenney's has been one of our great longtime partners. They let us have $70, $80 coats for $21 a piece. So that's another great partnership with Elders Ace. Couldn't do it without the public.
Well, what I love about the Forgotten Child Fund, Kelly, is the fact that it is made up of volunteers and local first responders from all over our area coming together to make sure that our kids, like the name implies, are not forgotten, which is just so important.
Well, you know, fire and police, I'm a retired firefighter from Chattanooga, but, you know, we come in a lot of times, you just see us in your worst moments, and that could be death, tragedy, or whatever it could be. But to give back, and everybody's heart's just so dedicated to give back. We know, you know, fire, police, EMS, we don't make a whole bunch of money, but to be able to give back and be able to help a kid with a coat, toboggan, or a glove out there on the bus stop on a cold morning, you know, you go, people's going to work, they see them out there and it's cold. You're cold in your car, getting in the car, let alone sitting at the bus stop without a coat or a toboggan and glove.
Right. Obviously, a lot of the fundraisers and efforts that you guys have are for the winter months, but of course, it takes the whole year of building this up, and that's why these weather radio events, we hope, are a big help.
Well, we're here for anything, burnouts throughout the year. It's just not December,
right.
You know, family could, police department might have a tragedy or something needing toys, coats, toboggans, and gloves. Just to be able to give back, put a smile on somebody's face. That's what it's all about.
Now, talk a little bit about, if you can, the history of the Forgotten Child Fund, because this has been going on for decades. It got its roots here in the 60s.
Yeah, it actually started with Johnny Wright. He was a patrol officer. And it domestic call on Christmas Day, and he asked the two kids what they got for Christmas. One showed him an apple, one showed him an orange, and that was it. Broke his heart. He called the business owners downtown. That's when Loveman's and everything was downtown. Opened up the stores, come in, got them some Christmas. And that's how we got started.
And that effort and that legacy continues, which I love.
And not only just getting the coats and the toboggans and gloves, getting the radios out.
Right.
The weather radios, like I said, I'm a retired fireman. I worked the tornadoes when it hit East Brainerd, and we was there ground zero that night. And the devastation, not being prepared and knowing at least getting to a safe spot and weather those storms out. That's what it's all about.
And there are so many ways for people to donate during our weather radio events. Of course, every purchase of a weather radio, $5, from Elders Ace, they'll donate straight to the Forgotten Child Fund. We also have the option for just a cash donation on site if you bring in your older radio that needs programs, so that way you still have an opportunity to give back.
That's exactly right. And we'll be on site that day too, but back and forth both locations. But, you know, it's just elders giving back to the community and keeping everybody safe. That's what it's all about.
All right. What it's all about, you couldn't have said it better. From the Forgotten Child Fund, who takes $5 of those purchases and uses it to help people in our community with need. Now we're going to go to our chief meteorologist, David Glenn. He is at the East Brainerd location.
Thanks. So
David, can you hear us?
I did. I got you. Just talking to some people here. Thank you, sir.
And that's the best part of these, David, is getting to talk to some of our viewers. And one word that I kept hearing when I was out there earlier today, and that we always hear, is how grateful people are to be able to watch you and Bill and Olivia during storms and hear the important information they need to know when to go to their safe space.
Oh, exactly. And that's exactly what this is about. We're taking this beautiful sunny day, which we've not had in weeks, but this is the perfect time to sort of reset, recharge, and get ready for the summer season, where we still can have some strong storms occur. We may have some of those arrive this weekend, maybe not to the extent that we had a couple of weeks ago, but nevertheless, it's time to get that weather radio reset. And I should mention that I know we had the outage last week, and that was for the National Weather Service in Morristown, and 2 weeks ago, the National Weather Service in Nashville, to do some software upgrading, which helps streamline getting these alerts to your radios a lot better. So yes, your radios are back in full working order, not a problem at all. But if for some reason you turn it on, and maybe it's not getting you the broadcast, or you haven't heard alert in a while, bring it over here. We'll be glad to check it out absolutely free to make sure that it's working properly. But I know for my weather radio at home, once that outage was lifted and Morristown got their, it's called the AWIPS, software upgraded, everything was working just fine on mine. So I know it's back up and running, but if you just want to make sure, or if you don't have a weather radio yet, be sure to get one. And don't let that outage discourage you from get one. That was an outage to upgrade things. Yeah, I really think the weather radio should be your primary source of alerting you. And then a phone app like the Storm Track 9 app is secondary, because those alert radios have a radio signal. All right. And sometimes if you're in a spot where you get poor cell service, you might not get that alert. Or if a storm is taken out of cell tower, you don't get that alert. So the radios can transmit and go deeper into pockets that maybe have poor cell reception. It can get you those alerts. And those radios are very, very loud. They'll shake you out of your sleep.
They sure will. And we actually spoke to the National Weather Service during that outage about what the upgrades are going to help. Here's what they had to say.
Yeah.
But it's not like you got a brand new phone and everything looks different. So that's kind of, these updates are to allow for future capabilities that we'll be able to utilize, that, you know, we're going to be out in the field and being able to tap into that software from helping emergency managers at emergency operations centers, where we need that vital information to provide to them immediately. So that's kind of what this upgrade is going to allow us to do in the future.
But like you said, David, as of Friday of last week, all back up and running, ready to go, as long as you have your county correctly programmed. And that's what you guys are doing for people out there today.
This is on your the location service on your radio has a special code. It's kind of like a zip code, but it's not a zip code. Every county in the U.S. has its own specific code. And once that one is programmed correctly, you know, you'll be sure to get the alerts for your area. If you live on say, very close to a border, say you're in Hamilton, but you border Bradley, we can put in both counties just as a fail-safe to make sure you're getting both alerts for those counties. So whatever to keep you safe and make sure you're getting the message, that's what this is all about.
We're looking right now at the addresses of the two locations you are, David. You're at 8164 East Brainerd Road, the Elders Ace that we all see in East Brainerd, and then Bill Race and some of our other News Channel 9 team members, 1105 North Main Street. So lots spread out across the community. We always go to different locations, and those are the two that we're at today, and somebody will be there until 7 p.m.
That's right. And I should say that area near Lafayette, and those bordering counties of Chattooga and Dade and that part of Southern Walker has had a lot of severe activity just in May alone, several events. So it's a good time if you live in Somerville, Tryon, Lafayette, Rock Spring, Chickamauga, head on down to Main Street there. It's just a short drive, and make sure your weather radio is working properly, or if you need one, purchase one. Likewise here in Hamilton County and East Brainerd, where, as you mentioned earlier, it's been a busy spot for severe weather over the past several decades.
Yeah. All right, David, thanks so much. We'll let you get back to programming some of those weather radios. Okay, now we want to talk a little bit about why people wanted to come out today and buy those weather radios. We talked to dozens of people this morning. You can see in our live look there to the other side of the screen, we've got two ladies up there waiting for their weather radios to be programmed. Here's why one viewer wanted to stop by today.
Just never have done it. And there have been two tornadoes. One got my sister's house and one got my niece's house in the last 2 years. So we just decided this was the time. Well, you never know when one's going to happen, and when it's going to go away, how long it's going to be on the ground. It's just a good safety factor to have something that you can hide and prepare and protect yourself.
And we know that all too well here in our area, the Ringgold tornadoes, the Easter tornadoes, so many instances of severe weather that we've seen here to let us know why those weather radios are so important. And like we talked about a little bit earlier, you can program that weather radio yourself at home. And here's David walking us through how to do that.
I'm Storm Track 9's David Glenn, and I'm here to show you how to program your Midland WR120 Severe Weather Radio, one of the most widely used radios in our area. To get started, you'll need 3 AA batteries and the power cord that came with your radio. I'll be showing you how to set up a brand new radio right out of the box, and if your radio happens to be an older version, I'll have some helpful troubleshooting tips at the end of this demonstration. Let's get started. First, insert the batteries in the compartment on the bottom of the radio. Also, make sure the weather radio switch on the side is in the on position. The display on the front will now show welcome and ask you to select the language you'd like to use. Press the select button to see your choices. Use the up or down arrows to choose between English, Spanish, or French. Press the select button again to lock in your choice. Next, you will be asked to set the location for the area which you would like to receive alerts. Press the select button. Here you have the option to choose between any to get alerts for any county in the area, multiple to get alerts for more than one county, and single to get alerts for just one county. We recommend choosing single to get those alerts relevant to your area. The National Weather Service will warn all counties affected by a watch or warning at the same time. I'll be demonstrating how to program your radio for a single county. Press the select button again to make your choice. Your display will now show 01 empty. Press the select button again to begin setting your location. Use the up or down arrows to choose the country you live in. Then press select. Now choose your state or province and press select again. And then choose the county you live in. Press select to finalize your location. If you chose multiple at the start, just repeat the process to add more counties that you would like to receive alerts for. After you have set your location, you'll be asked to set the time. Press the select button and use the arrow keys to set the hours and minutes. Here's a helpful tip. Use the down arrow first to quickly get to PM hours. Use the up arrow to stay with the AM hours. Press select when you're finished setting the time. Next, you'll be asked to set the channel. Press select to see your options. Use the arrow keys again to cycle through the 7 different channels until you hear the National Weather Service broadcast.
This is NOAA Weather Radio Station WXK48, the voice of the National Weather Service.
Press select to choose that station. That's it. Your new radio is ready to go. Now be sure to plug it in and also have fresh batteries, and check those batteries about once every other month because you'll need those batteries should you lose power. Until that point, leave the radio plugged in. Okay, that's the setup for a new radio, but what if your radio isn't new? Here are some helpful tips. First, remember that if your radio was correctly programmed in the past but has lost power, you won't necessarily have to reprogram it. The radio should still have the correct location and channel settings in its internal memory. Just put in fresh batteries and plug it in. You can check the location and channel by pressing the menu button, then use the arrow keys to go to set location. Press select. The radio will display whether it's been programmed for single, multiple, or any county. Press select again to see the county that the radio is programmed for. To check to make sure your radio is set to the correct channel, be sure the switch on the side is turned to the on position. Then hit the weather snooze bar. If you hear a National Weather Service broadcast, you'll know that it's programmed correctly. If you don't hear anything from your radio, use the volume buttons to ensure the volume is turned up. If you hear a high-pitched ring and nothing else, it's a sign the radio is no longer operable and will have to be replaced.
So those are some important tips from David Glenn. You can go to our newschannel9.com/weather page and look for how to program your weather radio to watch that again so you can slow it down, push pause as you go through the steps. A good resource there. Like we said, our team has been out all morning. Meg Doyle was out bright and early before the sun even came up. Here's what she saw this morning at the East Brainerd location.
Hardware store, the East Brainerd location, and we are here getting your weather radios programmed. It has been pretty busy all morning so far here. These weather radios are so important to just stay prepared when there is events of severe weather. So I'm going to show you when you come into the store, you just walk right through the doors. And we have an awesome display set up with all the weather radios. They're $39.99 that you can see right here. They're all stacked up and ready to go. So you just grab a weather radio and then come right back out to us. It takes 1 minute to get programmed, and we'll program them specifically to your county to make sure you get the most accurate updates. If you also, we've had a lot of people bring their weather radios that they've already have If you're having any issues, if you need to troubleshoot, we can help you do that. We can make sure they're all set, good to go. We provide the batteries. We'll put in fresh batteries for you. And then we are also taking donations for the Forgotten Child Fund. So at the same time, you're able to give back to your community. For every single weather radio that is bought, $5 will go to the Forgotten Child Fund. So an awesome organization we're also pairing with here at Elders Ace. So again, we are going to be here until 7 o'clock tonight at East Brainerd and also the Lafayette location of Elders Ace Hardware. You're going to meet some of the Storm Track 9 team will be here as well. So come say hi, share your weather radio stories. I know I've already talked to several people today who unfortunately were pretty severely affected by the tornadoes that came through here in Ringgold a few years ago, and just talking about how important these weather radios are, because you lose power, you can't watch the TV anymore, but these weather radios, they stay plugged in all year, and then if you do lose power, they do have batteries, so that way it is guaranteed that you will still get that alert if there is severe weather going through the area. So super important. Come out here, come say hi, grab a weather radio. Let's chat and hang out on this beautiful Tuesday.
So Meg has now gone home because Meg, like I said, was up before the sunrise. But other members of our team still standing by. We've got Maggie and Kim at the East Brainerd location. That's where David is too. Bill Race down in Lafayette. All of our Storm Track 9 team, News Channel 9 team, ready to meet you and say hello until 7 p.m. tonight. And Maggie and Kim and Bill, I know you guys had a little friendly rivalry going. Right now, you said that East Brainerd is a little above the selling in the radios. Can Lafayette catch up? That's the question.
I have just unconfirmed reports of 40 sold.
Well, every radio is an important radio, and that's what matters in this situation.
But not only the 40 that were sold, but people that came in with their radios that maybe weren't working, maybe they weren't sure they were working. And as David was saying, it's time, a good time to reset and make sure everything's going okay.
That's certainly right. So like we said, come and see us. You can see our team as they were out today, making sure that you have all the important weather information you need. Our two Elders locations that we're at today, East Brainerd Road, 8164 in Lafayette, 1105 North Main Street. Team, thanks so much for all you're doing out there, meeting our viewers, talking to them, and making sure they're safe if severe weather comes through. We have until 7 p.m. We'd love to see you. For now, thanks for joining us in the News Channel 9 Stream Center. See you soon.